Hi, Niels Vejlyd here with yet another beginner's lesson. What we're going to talk about here in this video is some cool little hints and tools that you can use when you go from one chord to another. I see a lot of beginner players, they get very frustrated with the chords that they don't think they sound right. You hear something and somebody teaches you, or you watch a video on YouTube, or you get a book, or you even have a teacher who's showing you chords, and when he plays them they sound amazing, or they sound good, and then when you do this seemingly the same thing, for some reason it doesn't sound right. The first thing I want to say about this is don't give up. Don't get discouraged when things don't sound right, because this is the first element that makes people stop practicing. Well, it doesn't even sound right. It sucks. Maybe I'm not really cut out to play guitar, and nothing can be further from the truth. Playing guitar is one of those things that is just much more difficult than it seems. And this is I believe that this is one of the reasons that so many want to play guitar, because it looks easy, and then once they get into it, they find that it takes so much more practicing, becoming a good guitar player, or even get through a song, that so many people give up. So what I want to talk about here is those basic chords. How come they don't sound right? There are a few pointers here, elements that makes a chord on the guitar sound good. One thing is that you press this string down, it touches a fret, and then you get a note. You can just experiment with this yourself, and you can see the next note we get here. This is in this case we're playing a C. The next note we play is this one here, the second fret, and again we do the same thing. We press the string down, it touches the fret that are here in the front, you can see, and then we get a specific note. And then the next note we play is actually an open string. We play this string here, but we don't touch it, but we want the string to be open, as it is called. Then we get this note, and then finally we get this note here, the first fret on the second string. The same thing happening again. We press the string down, the string gets in contact with the fret, and we get one specific note. These three notes, it's actually four strings, but one of the notes is a repetition, this one and this one. They obviously sound different, but it's the same note one octave higher. These three notes played simultaneously is called a C triad chord. But there are so many things that can go wrong here. The first thing is, you can see my ring finger here is actually in front of almost all the remaining strings. If this finger lies down, then it will mute. You can see the remaining strings. And that's one thing. The next thing is, you need to press down hard enough so that the string gets in contact with the fret, because if it doesn't press down just right, then you'll get this muted sound again. The next thing that can go wrong is when you press down a string with your finger, you can see there's actually a chance that the finger may touch the strings surrounding that string you want to play. So for example here, when we play this C chord, then that open G string, the third string it's also called, might even get muted from the ring finger here, because the finger can get in touch and get in contact with the string that it shouldn't. So that's three things that can make a chord sound in a sucky way. You can see there's definitely a big difference between this and then this. I think we can agree on that. So what can we do about this? Well, the first thing is you should think about your fingers as what they are supposed to do is move in a curvy position. Let me just show you another clip of this. So now you can see my fingers here in the way that they move. So if I just take the first finger here, you can see I want that to go. I feel that it comes from out and then in. You can see it can easily touch the third string here, but if I put it position it in this curvy position, then it doesn't touch the surrounding strings. The next thing we do with the long finger here, it's also very curved. You can see like this. and it doesn't touch the surrounding strings. And the same thing we do with the last one here. That's so then all our fingers are very curvy here, and then we play the chord, and now we get this beautiful sound. If the fingers are lying like this, you can see, then it will touch the remaining strings, and then we get that muted sound. The next thing I want to talk about here is when we go from one chord to the next. That is another thing that can be very frustrating for a beginner. Let's say that we go from an open C to an open D. Notice what I actually do here. It sounds very good, or at least I think so. The thing that I actually do is I can pretty much put my fingers simultaneously on the chord. But when you're a beginner, you take one finger and then the next and then the next, and that you should be okay with this. So what you can do is actually what makes music is the rhythm. So if I just play this chord, then I drink a cup of tea, and then I position my fingers to the next, and then play the next chord, drink yet another cup of tea. I think we can all agree that that will not become music. So what makes up the music is the pulse, the rhythm between the chords. So if I'm just gonna stomp my feet here playing the chord, or I even added a rhythm, if I just play the chords like this, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now we got music, or at least some kind of music, when we add that rhythm to it. What a beginner can do in this case, because obviously if you've never played this before, then once you position your fingers for the chord, you will not be able to play the chords so that they get that right sound. So you need to add that. You need to add the rhythm. Try make a little lesson whenever you feel ready. Once you know the chords by heart, you know exactly where to position the fingers. The fingers just don't do what you want them to do. But once you're able to, or you are able to identify the chord, going from one chord to the next, then you can add that stomp. That pulse, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you're able to do that, then you know, for example, that the first chord you want to play 1, 2, and then the next 1, 2, and then the next again 1, 2, 3, 4. Just as an idea, it doesn't have to be that rhythm. But what you just need to do is you need to arrange the chords so that you say to yourself, okay, so what finger is the easiest to position first? Maybe it's the ring finger on the C, and then the long finger and the next finger. That would be the case for most people. Then just be able to you need to play the first strum, and then position the rest of the fingers after. And so that chord might sound something like this. So I only get, for example, the 3 first here, and then I get the final, the index finger. And the same for the next one. Maybe you can maybe play the index finger first, and then like this. But you just have to be okay with that for a period of time until you become able to position the notes simultaneously. Then the next step is actually you can do something really funky. I remember that I came up with when I started playing guitar, is that if you're able to play in position the fingers just one after each other, you can do a little arrangement with the other hand. For example, if I in the C play the A string first, then the A and D, G and B, then I can actually just do that really slow, and then gradually play the strings like this, and sort of cheat a little bit with that, because maybe I'm not ready to do so, to do it all simultaneously. So I can, when I play the first here, then I just play the A string, and then the D string, and then the G string, and then finally the B string. So I can actually gradually put my fingers on here, So even that I'm not able to position my fingers simultaneously, I can still make it sound like I rock when I do that arpeggiated, which is just called. We play the strings after each other, sort of. And you can do the same with that with the D string, because the first one I play is the D string, which is open, like this. 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. So I can do this one. I play the open 4th string. I can do that easily on 1 on the downbeat, and then gradually positioning my fingers and then back again to the first one. So that's a cool little lesson that instantly makes your 2 chords sound very musical, and you can sort of cheat with that way, and a lot of this is just repetition. So once you've done this a few hundred times, you gradually become faster and faster positioning your fingers. So try to have a little fun with this, and please don't force yourself. Don't be discouraged when it doesn't sound good. You're not supposed to sound good the first many times that you play guitar. You really need to know this. So even though it looks so easy, the guitar is an instrument that really takes a lot of repetition and a lot of work. So just see it as something you do because it's fun, and see it as a life work where you don't have to set yourself up and say, okay, I need to play, I want to be able to play guitar or play a song for my girlfriend in 2 months, because that's not the right thing to do. You need to, obviously you can set some goals for yourself, but you need to have fun with it. It has to be something you do because you love it, and not something you do because you want to impress somebody or something like that, because that will most certainly make you give up pretty soon. That's my the way that I experience it anyway.